This edition was shown in September 1974, when Manchester United were a second division side. They're one of the teams featured in this trip down memory lane, all in the company of Brian Moore.
And a warm welcome again to the big match. The three games we've got for you today are Fulham against York City, that's the main match, followed by Manchester United against Nottingham Forest and Notts County against Southampton, all from the second division. None the worse for that, incidentally, because they provided us with 11 new goals to enjoy in the coming hour. Also today, a studio guest, it's Allan Mullery, a skipper of Fulham, and as usual, of course, we should be dipping into the mailbag to see what you've been writing to us about. But first of all today on the big match, it's down to Craven Cottage. So picturesque there beside the Thames, but as you can see, the wind is blowing pretty fiercely there, a blustery wind, as we come into the home of Fulham Football Club. Such a good-looking stadium there for this second division game between Fulham and York City. But first of all, our duty is to look at the two teams for the game today. It's Fulham now forced to make their first enforced change of the season. John Cutbush has failed. And the referee today is Mr. Ken Baker from Rugby. And talking of the high wind, just look what it's doing now to one of our pieces of equipment that gets the pictures to you. And that one is high over the Hammersmith end of the ground. So Fulham kick off, attacking the goal to our right. Against York City on their first visit ever to Craven Cottage. York City wearing maroon shirts with the Y front in white. A team promoted from the third division last season. Incredible the way the fortunes sway in football. That 5 years ago, for the third successive season, they applied for re-election at the bottom of the fourth division. And here they are now, up in the second division. In fact, they've only had one win so far this season. That was at home to Cardiff City, as opposed to Fulham, who've made their best start in 16 seasons. Time Viz Busby, back for Mullery again. Slough and Les Strong on the far side. Barry Lloyd. Really is a question of keeping the ball on the deck now in this swirling wind. Les Barrett again, finding a little bit of space. York have a good reputation for good, strong defence. They might well need it as Barrett gets a good cross in, but straight into the arms of Graham Crawford as Jimmy Conway went in. Good cross, though, by Les Barrett. Lions trying to get Seal away. Can Seal shake off more? That was a good piece of play by him in there for Holmes. Lacey not quite sure where that ball was, but playing it back then to Mellor. Now it's with Mullery. Fraser. Mullery. Busby. And Barrett. Slough. Now, if Barrett can stretch his legs and get to that one, well, he was taken from behind. It has to be a free kick. Just when it looked as though Les Barrett was going to get away from the number 3, Peter Oliver. So Fulham on the move again now. Now there is a chance for Barrett to get this one over. A low cross this time. Did that cross the line? Fulham claimed that it did, but the linesman and referee together say that it didn't. Must say it looked very much to me as though that ball did go over the line, but they were better placed than I. Maybe we can look at that one a bit later on. But here's Fraser. On for Mullery again. And here for Barrett again, whose crosses have caused some trouble, but not that one, as Butler turns it into touch. But Mr. Baker thought that it hadn't crossed the line. That's what's important. But here's Busby again, causing a problem there for York City. And Swallow had to get that one away. Beautiful diving header out of defence. Foul by Lacey, free kick to York City. Not taken from the right place, so they'll have to come back and take it again. And again not taken from the right place, so they'll have to come back again.
Well, that was a very good header out of defence by Barry Swallow, but certainly these crosses from Les Barrett are causing York City one or two problems in defence. Here's Holmes to Lyons. Seal has made a good run down towards the right to take this one from Lyons. Turned in again. What a good run there by Holmes. It didn't quite come to him. It's a goal! Scored by Chris Jones for York City. A very good goal indeed. Well taken by Jones after Fulham had had more of this opening quarter of an hour. As the ball came in from the right, Jones was there and made absolutely sure. So York City then into the lead, and Fulham now facing the wind and facing a one-goal deficit. Fraser. That is indeed the first league goal that Fulham have conceded here this season. 7 goals scored in the 2 games so far, none conceded, with a 4-0 win against Cardiff, a 3-0 win against Notts County. So York City have already done what those 2 clubs failed to do. Strong. Never losing out to Chris Jones, who really took that goal well. Here's Slough. Conway. Barrett. Now, can he cause more trouble for them? Here's Barrett now, getting round his man, and that's another corner, that time off topping. And Barrett really giving that number 3, Peter Oliver from York City, quite an afternoon. Barry Lloyd will take the corner. And there are now 10 players from York City inside their own penalty area, and the remaining player is a matter of 2 yards outside them. Lacey getting up with a good header there, and Conway turned. Did that go in? Was it handball? Well, Fulham claims strenuously that there was a handball on the far side there, and certainly they're not having too much luck in that York City penalty area. Offside that time against Slough, but some strong claims there by the Fulham players that there was a handball in that York City defence, and Slough being pushed away from the referee by Les Barrett, but it might be too late, and in fact Alan Slough is going to be booked for showing dissent. Well, certainly there was some feverish activity in that penalty area, and that's another thing we must look at later. So Slough is booked. Fulham are still a goal down, and we're coming up to the half-hour mark. Busby. Slough. Mullery. Conway. Now Moore. Slough played off nicely there for Mullery, hit beautifully but hit wide. Well, a lot of power in that shot, and from this angle it looked as though it was going closer than in the end it did. From Mullery. Slough. Played on for Conway, good piece of running by him. And turned in nicely by him for Busby. And again, Busby got round that defender. The crowd wondered whether that was a penalty, but the referee would have none of it. Referee claiming that Busby made maybe a little too much of it. Strong. Barrett again. Inside once again for Strong. Crossed by him, Busby with the header. Busby still there with the header, and the fist of Crawford is not away yet. And finally, it's only hoiked out there by Lyons, and Strong might get this back again for Fulham. Good piece of play by him. There's Lloyd trying to turn it on. Just a little too delicate there, though. And York City with a big boot can get it away. 4 minutes to go now to half-time. Fraser. And again. Played towards Conway, completely fooled by the wind there. Chris Topping. Back to Graham Crawford. Swallow now for York City. Oh, and he's given that straight to Mullery. And now with Barrett. Now this could be a decisive break for Fulham right on half-time. Mullery getting the ball in there, but cleared by Mickey Cave as the whistle goes for half-time. And York City with one real attack to their credit, and one goal as well, as Alex Stock, the Fulham manager, goes off in the hope of repairing the damage during the half-time interval. So the only goal of the first half scored by Chris Jones for York City. A very good one indeed, after Fulham had had what they claimed was a ball over the line, what they claimed they should have had a penalty for a handball. But it all adds up to a half-time scoreline, which reads Fulham 0, York City 1, and we'll be right back with the second half in just a couple of minutes. And York City then get us away as we welcome you back at the start of the second half. Now attacking the goal to our right and facing the wind, and Fulham with their substitute John Mitchell on. Strong. Mullery couldn't quite get there before Cave, and Strong can turn it back. Strong was on up there. I think it's Barry Lloyd who's gone off. Yes, Barry Lloyd is off the field. So whether they've taken that tactical decision that they want another striker up front there, John Mitchell, who had about 7 months off with a pelvic injury, has been scoring well in the reserves though this season. And in fact scored in Italy, because Fulham have been in Italy this season in a 1-1 draw with Bologna last Monday. So it could well be that they've taken Barry Lloyd off, midfield player, to add just a little bit more pep up front, searching for these goals now against York City. There's Barrett with the cross. Well, Mitchell quickly making an impression there. It'll come now for the number 2, Fraser. Oh, Lacey right up there, missing his kick. And a free kick to York City with a foul by Barrett on Chris Jones. John Stone, there's Barry Swallow, but John Stone then with the kick. Over Bobby Moore's head, Lacey in behind him. Barrett nodded on beautifully there for Busby. Slough. Mullery linking up with the attack. Cross there for Busby. Now, can he turn on this one and hit it? No, he can't, and he might get another chance though. And it won't fall for Slough either, so Mullery must try again. The pattern of this second half in the opening minutes or so, very much the pattern of the first half as well. With Fulham coming forward all the time, but now the difference being that they've got the wind behind them. Busby with the backward header, Swallow getting it away. Barrett now there for Fulham. Taking it wide and doing very well. That's a good cross, but then straight into the arms of Crawford just before Mitchell could get there, the number 12. Well, that was a push by Bobby Moore on Jones, no question of that, and again right in front of the referee. Here's Moore again. Strong. And Moore again. Playing it for Slough. Mullery trying to whip things up a little bit again in the middle of the field. Mitchell up ahead of him, Busby too, and played again to his Old England teammate Bobby Moore. Here's Conway, gone wide. Moore again. Oh, that'll come for Busby. Now Busby with a shot! Did all the difficult work. Caught it on the volley and caught it hard on the volley. But way off the mark with the shot. And still Fulham can't find the equaliser. Slough might be in a bit of trouble from Jones, but got out of it very well indeed, or rather strong. And now Moore. And now Barrett. Stone has gone back there with him. Well, they both missed that one, and John Stone has a chance now to get it away for York City, and does it very well to find Barry Lyons. Mullery in hard, and really had a go at Les Strong for not backing him up there. Mullery trying to set the right example of urgency now in this Fulham midfield. Fraser for Fulham. Well, you really can't blame Fraser too much for that. There was nobody who was readily available for it. Lacey, and now Moore. Oh, that might come yet for Fulham. On the far side, Slough couldn't quite get on the end of it to turn it in. But there are moments when this York City defence, under a lot of pressure, are beginning to waver. And it's going to need all the experience of a man like Barry Swallow, I think, to keep them going now, as Fulham really throw everything at them. I would think in that bench there on the right there, Bill Taylor, the coach, in the middle, Ron Rulno, the physiotherapist, on the left, and Alex Stock, a little bit animated there, getting just a little bit anxious now. Barrett, Conway, and now for Moore again, planted forward this time for John Mitchell, the substitute. Swallow was very quickly on him again. Barrett available. Now can he get a good cross in, Barrett? There's the cross, it's a good one! It's not away yet. Punched away, though, by Crawford at the second attempt. Strong again. Barrett once again. This is where the trouble really is coming for York City. And Barrett couldn't get that corner, that cross in. Some good crossing there by Les Barrett, not on that particular occasion there, but he's really curled some good ones in that always look very menacing. Slough. But look how the number 9's coming back there. It was a foul, but it shows the way that they are determined to play this game, York City. They're really fighting to hold on to this lead now, even if it means pulling back the number 9 and the number 10 into deep defensive positions, running hard and tackling hard as well. Just a little too hard there, so it's a free kick to Fulham, which Mullery will take again. One that I'm sure he will float towards big John Lacey, who's come up once more. Well, that said handball, said the crowd, just outside the box by Jimmy Seal. There was no more than a yard to spare, so it's another free kick. Mullery will take it. Lacey again, stayed up. Driven that time. Looking for the deflection. And it very nearly came to a deflection. Very nearly came to a goal there. Mullery very cleverly switching his tactics there. From the floated free kick, he hammered one in there, hoped for the deflection, which he got. But not for the goal that he so badly wanted. Now Jones again. Lyons, Holmes, Stone. In again for Ian Holmes for York City, and that's a shot that wasn't so far away. So York, having defended so stoutly for so long, suddenly got in with a couple of useful shots there. That one from Ian Holmes. Bobby Moore for Fulham. Slough, Mullery. Fraser, Lacey, everybody bar Mellor, and now Lacey, of course, in the Fulham half of the field, in the York City half of the field. Here's Strong. Moore. Jones. And now Holmes. Lyons. Stone's gone on ahead of him. That's out of play. Lacey for Fulham. Oh, that'll go straight to Cave. A little touch off and it's on for Jones. Seal is up ahead of him. Here's Mickey Cave again. A long shot stopped by Lacey. Oh, and he's given away a second goal. Yes, scored again by Jones. What a disaster that for Fulham. Well, Lacey could have done almost anything with that. But Lacey, in fact, turned it back. And Bobby Moore in agony over that one. Lacey turned it back. And Jones went in for his second goal. Fulham 0, York City 2. So Chris Jones, who scored it, John Lacey, who allowed him to get it. Well, that really was a turn-up. And now Fulham have got so much to do. Slough turning it back in there again once more. Crawford for York. Tom Johnson with the pipe, the York City manager on the left, Colin Meldrum. I'm sure all Watford supporters remember him, the coach there at York City. And of course, with Fulham pressing, there's always the chance for one of these quick York City breakouts. Jones on the far side, Oliver's gone up the wing there for him. Here's Seal. Holmes is in a lot of space here as well, and so too is Lyons. Inside again for Stone. Now for Mickey Cave. A free kick given to York, which Lyons will take. Again, Swallow right up in there. Holmes with the free kick, and a good one too, and it went right across the face of that Fulham goal once more. Crossed in again by Butler. Seal is there underneath it. Mullery is in trouble and headed away finally by Slough, and it's not right away yet. Well, it could so easily have been 3-0, and that would have been even more improbable. Cave, Swallow, about 10 minutes to go now. Jones, played for Seal, played on for Jones again, he's offside. Well, he got it home, and it would have been a hat-trick, except that he was a yard offside, and I think he knew it. Barrett chasing Stone, but Stone knowing where it's safe. Busby, Barrett, Mullery, Strong, Allan Slough. Coming now for Strong, into injury time at the end of the game now. So, but I can't recall there being an injury. There's Mitchell with a good shot, and that's called for a good save too from Crawford. First real bit of spark that Fulham have had, in fact, in the last quarter of an hour. Stone, must be the last seconds now of the game. Stone again forward. Jones off in pursuit, and Miller the catch. Bobby Moore. Cave trying to wriggle away through again for Chris Jones. I wonder whether the referee's watch has stopped, because there's certainly no injury time. Whether he's adding a little bit of time on for time wasting. Cautioned, well, he didn't exactly caution. He spoke to one of the York players about it. Here's another back pass, and there's Jones almost gathering up his hat-trick again with a bad back pass, that time from Les Strong, almost letting him in. Referee Ken Baker again looking hard at his watch. I think this might well be the last kick. Busby up once more. Oliver chasing hard. Conway couldn't get it. And there goes the final whistle, and those 2 goals by the big York City number 10, Chris Jones, completing really what has been a perplexing afternoon for Fulham. How it is they can have all of 90% of the game and end up on the losing side by 2 goals to 0. A lot of credit to the way that York City defended and fought in the middle of the field. A bright start for Fulham that never really came to anything in the end. And we're left with this final scoreline then at Craven Cottage that reads Fulham 0, York City 2.
I think I lost out to the loudspeaker there a bit as well, but Fulham weren't the only London side to go down yesterday, and it really is a bleak season so far for the capital. Indeed, only Crystal Palace, well done Big Mel, and Charlton Athletic were among the London clubs who won yesterday. But now let's look a little closer at Fulham with Allan Mullery, their skipper. That must have been a very disappointing result indeed for you yesterday after your fine start to the season, Allan.
It was, Brian, yeah. I've been very, very pleased with the side. I'm sure the supporters have, and the club, you know, over the early matches, the first part of the season. But we got beat at Millwall last week pretty badly, and yesterday we thought we'd get back on the winning way again. But
it's hard to see where you did go wrong, because you had so much of the game, and at the end nothing to show for it.
Basically, I suppose you put it down to inaccurate shooting, bad finishing, things like this, you know. I mean, in our earlier games where we scored goals, and yesterday we never scored goals, yet we had chances, you know.
And they defended well.
Very, very well. Give them their due. I mean, they came and they played. When they defended with 11 men, and when they played forward, everybody was attacking. You know, it was quite interesting for them. In
the first half, when you were probably at your best, there were 2 incidents really where you felt there might have been something coming your way. Once when the ball might have crossed the line as it came over. We'll look at this now, Allan.
It's a ball played down the line to Les Barrett, and he intends it for a cross actually, but smacks the ball very hard. And the goalkeeper, it's going in the near post. The goalkeeper gets down to it. I think the linesman was, he's over by the cottage, and he was a bit unsighted, I think, by
Don't
the
think the whole of
body.
that ball has crossed the line, and I think you've got to give the benefit of the doubt there to the referee.
If we'd have had 3 hours, I'd have argued with you, but, you know, it's debatable, I must admit. Yeah. Yes, it was debatable.
But something that looks much more clear-cut is the penalty that you feel you should have had, the whole Fulham side thought they should have had, and the camera behind the goal also agrees with that. Let's have a look at that one.
The only one was the referee.
Yes,
we can't argue.
And they are very important. The fella to watch out for is the number 2 there with his back to you.
Jim Conway gets up extremely well to head the ball. The goalkeeper makes a good save.
Now there, it looked as though he touched the ball, in fact completely changed the direction of it, number 2 John Stone, and if you missed it the first time, look at it again now. There's Jimmy Conway's header, pushed against the post by the goalkeeper, and as it comes out, the number 2...
knocks it up in the air.
Knocks it up in the air. And in fact, do you notice that he looked back at the referee to see what
he did, actually. Everybody in that 6-yard box all turned to the referee, you know, and Alan Slough persisted so much in his argument against the penalty, he had his name taken.
Still, I mean, for dissent, you expect to get your
name
taken.
Yes, yeah. But it's disappointing when, you know, practically everybody, television cameras, 7,000 or 8,000 people in the ground, and the only 2 people that didn't see it was the referee and linesman. You know, this is disappointing for the players, and consequently, this is when people will use dissent.
The York City goal, the first one.
It was it started off a bad pass from Bobby Moore, basically.
And there weren't many of those?
No, not really, no. The ball was played by Bob to Barry Lyons, who's the York right winger,
Number
7.
And
he now goes along the line. You can see inside, Barry Lloyd ball watches a bit here. He should be marking the right half of York. He goes to take it on the outside of his foot and misses the ball completely, which sends myself and John Lacey going towards our own goal, and the inside left nips in and scores the goal.
But the real killer was this one in the second half.
Well, we were still in the game up until this stage, and then John Lacey plays a bad ball in the first place. It comes back to John Lacey, the guy hits a shot, and it comes back to John Lacey, who's now got plenty of time once he's controlled the ball.
Did you warn John Lacey?
I did, actually. I was shouting at John not to play it back to the keeper. He does a little dummy there, but then again he sends it back to the keeper.
So you put your hands to your heads in the top of the picture there.
Yeah, we were a bit disappointed there. I think it's even worse now. In the picture here now, you can see us. We're very, very disappointed, very down and out. You know, I think it probably cost us the game, that goal.
You knew it was all up then.
Yeah.
Is it going to be difficult to lift Fulham now? I mean, do you see a bright season ahead in spite of the last couple of weeks?
I can see a bright season as long as we don't play too often like we played yesterday. As I say, in the early part of the season when we were playing well, everything was going for us, whereas yesterday, the 1 or 2 little opportunities in the penalty decision and the ball nearly crossing the line, and probably we won't see as much on television this afternoon, 2 or 3 chances that went haywire. you know, if they have gone in, or if we'd have got the penalty, it's a different kettle of fish. But this is football, and we never scored, and they got 2 goals, and they did quite well, I thought.
But you're optimistic, and I think you're also a little bit worried about your old club of Spurs, the upheaval they've had there. How have you reacted to that?
I've reacted, you know, I hate to see, if I've been to a football club like most other players and managers that have been involved with football clubs, I hate to see them in the position they are now, propping up the First Division, because they are undoubtedly, you know, probably one of the greatest club sides and clubs in the country today.
But they deserve to be there, do you think?
Oh yes, undoubtedly, yes. I think they're a very, very average First Division side this year. We played them in the pre-season friendly, and I would only class them as that, very average First Division side. And the way they're playing at the moment, other than the only win there over Derby, they deserve to be in the position they are now.
Billy Nicholson has resigned. What sort of manager now does the club need?
I know what sort of manager I would like to go there, but I think the board have got a different type of manager to me. I think they want somebody very, very similar to Bill.
In what way?
I think they want probably a hard man, a very firm man, a man who's probably perhaps 10 years younger than Bill, but still wears a tracksuit. Whereas I would go for an even younger man who knows the present-day demands of players and the qualities that players want. I would go for a young tracksuit manager, you know, in the case of somebody like Terry Neal, Johnny Giles, these sort of people. But I think that in the end, Tottenham will go for a seasoned manager. I don't think they'll take a chance with a young manager. It's only probably a year or no experience at all.
Have they got to change their attitude over a lot of things? I mean, there's been a lot of talk about the transfer market and their attitude to the transfer market and their principles and so on. Have they got to change that, do you think?
I think so, yeah. I think they either change or they sink. If they want to sink, I mean, that's their kettle of fish. It's nothing to do with me. But, you know, the transfer market and all this business, they've missed out on 3 or 4 players, you know. The thing is, why have other clubs purchased these players? I don't think it's anything to do with
they talk about shady deals in the transfer market, don't they?
I don't know. It's debatable. I mean, when I went to Tottenham 10 years ago, it was marvellous to go to the club. It was fantastic. They just finished the double side in 64 when I went there. And 64, yeah, that's right, when I went there. And it was a privilege to go and play for a club like that. But I don't think so much now. I think if you've got Leeds or Liverpool and Tottenham, I think you choose the other 2 clubs before you go to Tottenham now. Because Tottenham, as I say, are a very, very average First Division side.
Would you, as a former skipper, give us a tip as to who you think might go there now?
Well, I can only, you know, give you tips, I suppose, on what I would think. But I'd like to see somebody like Johnny Giles. I'd like to see somebody like Terry Neal. The younger type of manager, Gordon Jago. But then again, why does Gordon Jago want to go? Because he's got a firm job already. People like Danny Blanchflow, who's not been involved with football other than reporting, you know, for the last 10 years. I think if they were going to sign Danny Blanchflow, they'd have had him a week ago. So I think he's sort of gone on the wayside, you know. Unless they get somebody else, I think he'll only get the job if, you know, 2 or 3 other people turn it down.
Allan, thank you very much for coming today, although you were beaten yesterday. When's the next date? It's at Wolves, isn't it?
We go to Wolves on Wednesday evening, yes, and we're looking to bring something back.
And Orient next Saturday.
Yes.
Allan, thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Well, we stay in the second division then for our second match today, and I must apologise straight away to all the Chelsea fans who'd hoped to see their 1-1 draw at Middlesbrough. Unfortunately, we had a bit of technical bother. We can't show it to you today, but well done, Chelsea, for that point, and we'll show you those goals in On the Ball next Saturday lunchtime. Instead, of course, it's a bonus for Manchester United fans. And we know there are plenty of good and loyal ones up and down the country, not just the bad ones. Manchester United went into their match against Nottingham Forest yesterday, top of the table with a 100% record. Granada TV were there for Manchester United against Nottingham Forest. Commentator Gerald Sinstadt with Manchester United here in the dark shirts.
McCallie. Martin. Morgan keeps it in, but no more. Forsyth gives him another try. Martin and Greenough. "26 minutes gone, and Brian Greenough's move up front pays off. Starts here with McCalliog, and it's hit a bit hard by Martin out to the right, and Willie Morgan can only just keep it in play. Forsyth picks it up, and now Morgan plays a better ball into the middle. Forced wide by Lyle, on to Martin, and Martin pushes it through, and Greenough takes his chance well.
Neil's header, buckened, and there's a flag up for offside. Buchan was left in a somewhat embarrassing position there with forwards on each side of him, and he no doubt would have been very relieved to hear the whistle. Crowd momentarily gone quiet, although there's another big gathering here at Old Trafford in spite of the weather. Dennehy. Pushed forward by Cottam. Bowyer's header, and Neil Martin coming in. Bowyer! Well, he'd always looked the most likely Forest scorer. And he made it, and with the assistance of Martin, he scored it. This is Dennehy. And that's Cottam putting it forward onto Bowyer's head. Martin shielded it for him, and Bowyer finished it off. Martin, Lyle. Aim for Neil Martin, good header. Stepney got down well. Neil Martin hasn't had many crosses that he was able to meet with his forehead like that in this game, but that was a beauty. So Richardson with the corner. Curling in, Cottam there, and he's got it in. So, here are the second division's unbeaten leaders, now 2-1 behind at home to Nottingham Forest, after a well-taken corner by Richardson. And Cottam goes in with Stepney there, but he was there before Stepney. That should be a corner, and it's. Calliog to take it yet again. And once again, it's the United ploy of aiming for Holton's head. But once it gets there, it doesn't seem to produce very much. This time it has produced another corner. No, it's still kept in. Morgan's cross. Goalkeeper just got fingertips to it. Calliog to Houston. Martin. Well controlled. McElroy. Beautiful control. It's all there when McElroy decides to use it. And he did that so cleverly. Houston. McElroy just wriggled away from the challenge, took his time, and planted it under the goalkeeper.
That's how it finished, 2-2. One other point is that the crowd there at Old Trafford was 40,000, the second largest of the day, beaten only by the one at Liverpool. Now it's time for your letters, and again, it's amazing the things that you do spot. We've got 13-year-old Tony Woodward here of 45 Blossom Square, Thiel, Reading in Berkshire, and Keith Ferris of 24 Birch Crescent, Aylesford in Kent, who both saw something in the Gillingham-Charlton game last week. It was that Keith Peacock of Charlton changed his shirt after half-time. Here's Keith in the first half against Gillingham with that red stripe down the side for Charlton. And this is Keith Peacock coming up now in the second half after he'd scored the winner against Gillingham, there without the stripe. I checked with Charlton, and Keith, like so many players, perspires a lot. Indeed, he takes salt tablets before every game. And they say you can wring his shirt out at half-time. They gave him another shirt at half-time at Gillingham there last week, and it was one that hadn't got the red stripe on it, so that answers that one. I've got 14-year-old Stephen Brill here of 31 Sevington Road, Hendon NW4, wonders if goalkeepers are allowed to swing on crossbars in the way that John Farmer of Stoke did against Queen's Park Rangers a couple of weeks ago. He wonders if a referee could award a goal if the bar was bent enough to stop the ball going in. This, first of all, is the incident that Stephen was talking about. Stan Bowles with the free kick, and you'll see John Farmer really pull that crossbar down there. Quite a bit of bend on it. In fact, a referee, of course, can't award a goal unless the ball actually goes into the net. But what he can do is he can caution a goalkeeper for ungentlemanly conduct if he thinks he's bent it enough to stop the ball going in. And incidentally, you've noticed how often they do bend those bars and how rarely they snap. It is just a steel band that goes right through the centre of the crossbar, and that's the reason why we're full of information today. Finally, we have Mr. Frank Atkinson of 309 Oxford Road, Reading in Berkshire, who really has the best interests of big match fans at heart. He saw Tony Field's brilliant goal for Sheffield United against Ipswich last week and said he thought that you would enjoy it as well. In fact, we showed it yesterday in On the Ball, but if you missed it then, it really is worth another look. It's the goal that Frank calls the goal of the season, and certainly it's the best we've seen so far.
Field. Tony Field going well, riding 2 tackles and a third. Good running. A great goal. A masterpiece of a goal. Superb stuff by Tony Field. What a corker.
Yes, a corker in every way, looking up all the time to see what's available, and nothing is. And he takes opponents on both of their sides, beating first of all the number 6, then beating past, going past George Burley. Then as Allan Hunter comes in, beats him as well, and now suddenly it's all on for him as Laurie Civil comes out to spread himself. A really magnificent goal there by Tony Field, and a victory salute that finishes it off, and just look at the delight on those Sheffield faces. But we got some more action now, and I think it's the first time, as far as I can recall at any rate, that the big match has brought you action from Meadow Lane, the home of Notts County. Yesterday they were at home to Southampton, still looking for their first win in the second division. ATV's cameras were there, the commentators Hugh Johns. Notts County here are in the stripes.
Now it's Stubbs, trying the low one and really wasn't on. Osgood for Southampton. Shannon going down the left, taking O'Brien with him, and taking Shannon. Difficult to be quite certain. Yes, it was a free kick. Quite certainly a free kick against young Ray O'Brien. So Southampton put men forward. 9, Osgood. O'Neill knocks it for Peach, who's going to try one. That's a beauty! Oh, what a goal! Dave Peach has made it 1-0 for Southampton. Only the second goal he's scored for Southampton since he came from Gillingham, and that's one that's going to count solidly against goalkeeper Eric McManus, who was not concentrating. The free kick given when Shannon was brought down by O'Brien. O'Neill touches it, and Peach just hammered it straight in, and nobody was watching. Osgood gliding it on. O'Brien aiming for Brad. He was held back by Bennett. Referee says play on, so Scanlon takes it on. He's done Mills once. Scanlon unable to find anybody in close support. He's got Randall. Corner. So Masson takes it. Scanlon, the number 11. Back into that crowded penalty area. They went for the big men. Needham's up there. Stubbs is up there. Brad is up there. All 6-footers. There's Masson's corner. There's Brad. And there's the goal. Randall. It's equaliser. Randall's got it. 1-1, and the county supporters erupt. Randall opens his account for the season, his first goal of the season. A corner from Masson, the little nick on by Brad, and there's Randall stooping to nod in the equaliser. Bennett. Randall going in. Oh, and Earls left that a bit late. Turner thought that Earls had it well covered, and the youngster left that clearance desperately late. Gives the corner away, so Masson goes out to take it. Oh, what a goal! What a goal! He came from nowhere. Stubbs, 2-1. He had run some 15, 20 yards to get on the end of that one, and none of the Southampton people picked him up. 2-1. Well, Turner deserves better cover than he's getting from this Southampton defence. So from the second goal that Notts County have scored from a corner this afternoon, Masson's taken both of them. Randall got the first, but this one, Masson hoisted it up there. Stubbs ran fully 20 yards to belt that header past Turner. Mills being pushed back by Scanlon. Turner not wanting to kick the ball. Steele, it breaks for Brad, and he's all right. He looked offside, but he's all right. He's on for number 3. And Randall gets there. What? He's given the penalty. He's given the penalty. It's not Randall's goal. He's not Randall's goal. A penalty, in fact, has been given. Brad brought down, so Turner's got to face up to the penalty. Referee Colin Seal explaining that although Randall didn't hear it, he had whistled for the penalty before Randall stuck the ball in the net. So it was, for a moment, as far as the fans were concerned, 3-1. We told you beforehand to look for Don Masson. If Notts County got a penalty, well, they've got the penalty. Now look down there, the man with the ball, skipper Don Masson. 6 years ago, he joined this club from Middlesbrough. Exactly to the day. Is he going to celebrate now with Notts County's 3rd goal? Masson against this goalkeeper. Yes! Masson gets it. 3-1. 3-1 the score. Fisher losing it. Randall waits for Probert. Randall again. Oh, and he's thrown away. Turner's coming, needs a chip. Randall set himself up to chip that one over Turner's head, and it just didn't come off for him. Turner's done well. Osgood in. Steele. Osgood. And again, Randall's offside. No good putting the ball through. He's a mile offside. Randall, the man who scored the equaliser, thought he'd got the 3rd goal. He's still in with a chance of getting another one yet. There's about 5 minutes to go. Steele. Beach. Fisher. Fisher the cross now. Not a bad one. Gilchrist is there. Now Osgood. And he's got one. Peter Osgood knocks in a second one for Southampton. 3-2 the scoreline. Well now, what's that going to do to the game? About 4.5 minutes to go. Fisher's cross. Osgood gets his boot high over the top of it, slashes it downwards, and the ball swerves away from McManus. He didn't know much about it. Southampton looking for an equaliser. Shannon. Not a bad cross, and that's Osgood! Off the line by Probert. That was very nearly Osgood pinching the point with that header.
But as you can see, it wasn't handball, but Southampton nearly getting that point at Notts County. That's it, though. Don't forget, on the ball next Saturday lunchtime when we'll show you those Middlesbrough-Chelsea goals and the big match next Sunday afternoon. But we say goodbye today reflecting the changing fortunes of Fulham. 2 incidents yesterday against York City when they thought they were onto something finally when they knew it was all over.
And there are now 10 players from York City inside their own penalty area, and the remaining player is a matter of 2 yards outside him. Lacey getting up with a good header there, and Conway turned. Did that go in? Was it handball? Here's Mickey Cave again, a long shot stopped by Lacey. Oh, and he's given away a second goal. Yes, scored again